Welcome back, everybody. This is Ron Dittmars talking to you from the recording studios in Brooklyn, New York of the Erasmus Academy. And tonight our guest is Jeff. Jeff, you want to say hello?
Hello.
Okay, so this is our fourth segment in the narrative on John Sutter. Remember, this is a person who left his home in Switzerland, boarded a boat with 0 pennies in his pocket, looking for some place to work, and then he came to the United States, to New York, and then eventually moved to California, discovered, built Sutter's Mill, and gold was discovered there, and he became the richest person in California at that time. Quite an amazing story. So this is a depiction of the mill itself by the river where gold was found by his workers. And I'm just going to pick up another picture here of some of the people who came subsequent, and they talked about a great catastrophe that followed, which was actually the gold rush itself, which created such a pandemonium of rushing and eager people coming into that area. So, I guess it's called panning. Here's a person panning in a creek here. All right, so this is the first, this is the paragraph that we're continuing with right here. So as I read the sentence out loud, Jeff will repeat after me. Please repeat with him to get a feel of the movement of the sentence, and then and the pronunciation, and then I'll ask him individual questions regarding the structure of the sentence, and please try to reply in your own mind um, what you would answer as we put together the meaning of these sentences that are actually quite fairly easy because they're all present tense verbs. Okay, you all ready, Jeff?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Sind wir ganz allein? Fragt Marshall und schaut zur Tür. Everybody?
Sind wir ganz allein? Fragt Marshall und schaut zur Tür.
So this means, are we, sind wir, entirely alone? And then here's your first verb. Where's the second verb?
Schaut.
Shout. And so shout means to look, look to the door. So how would you translate that first line altogether?
Are we entirely alone? Asked Marshall and looked at the door.
Yeah, actually everything present tense and looks at the door. So this is sort of historical present in the description here. Going on. Sutter ist erstaunt. Weiß gar nicht, was dieser Mann ihm sagen will.
Sutter ist erstaunt. Weiß gar nicht, was dieser Mann ihm sagen will.
So here's a ist and then a predicate adjective. Erstaunt. Sutter is amazed. And here's your first verb. He knows not at all. And where's your verb complex after the comma?
Sagen will.
Good. Notice that the modal follows the main verb, which is the telltale of a subordinate clause. Always that reversal there. What this man wants to say, and then what case is ihm?
Dative.
Dative, which we indicate with the carets. What this man wants to say to him. Going on. Aber steht auf und macht alle Türen zu.
Aber steht auf und macht alle Türen zu.
So Marshall is his foreman. So Sutter stands up and obeys what he requests. So here's a several prefix from stehen, and notice that it cannot go any further than a coordinating conjunction with un, because these are two independent clauses. So instead of auf going any further, it stops there. But it's a several prefix from stehen. Stehen by itself means stands. Aufstehen means to stand up. And then what's the verb complex here? Where's the several prefix?
Macht zu.
Zu. So zu is a several prefix, which means to close. Machen by itself means to make. Zumachen means to close. Aufmachen means to open. Okay. Translate that, just that sentence there.
But he stands up and closes all the doors.
Okay, great. Going on. Marshall sagt kein Wort und holt ein Taschentuch aus der Tasche. Everybody?
Marshall sagt kein Wort und holt ein Taschentuch.
Aus der Tasche.
Aus der Tasche.
Don't forget that. Okay, all the way down to here. So he says no word and takes from holen and takes, here's your direct object, ein Taschentuch, a neuter noun, aus der Tasche literally means out of the pocket, but German will often omit or elide the possessive pronouns, but you have to add them to have it make sense in English, and takes a handkerchief out of his pocket, you would say. Going on, dann macht das Taschentuch auf und legt es auf den Tisch. Everybody?
Dann macht das Taschentuch auf und legt es auf den Tisch.
Here's another und. These are two independent clauses. Again, the auf as a separate prefix cannot go any further than this und, so it goes together with macht. So we had macht zu to close, macht auf means to open. And then he places it, and it's Taschentuch is neuter, that's why it's S here. He lays it onto the table. Now, this is a directional accusative showing the direction toward which. Let's see, you want to just translate that sentence there, Jeff?
Yep. Then he opens the handkerchief and places it on the table.
Good. Was Sutter sieht, ist ein Handvoll Sand mit einigen gelben Körnern. Everybody?
Was Sutter sieht, ist eine Handvoll Sand mit einigen gelben Körnern.
Good. So what Sutter sees simply, and then is a this is just like English, handful, and then without the of, we had this before. But you supply an of with this in the English translation, is a handful of sand with some yellow particles. Körnern. Going on. Marshall nimmt ein paar gelbe Körner heraus. Everybody?
Marshall nimmt ein paar gelbe Körner heraus.
Good. Und legt sie Sutter in die Hand.
Und legt sie Sutter in die Hand.
Okay, so here we have another heraus. What does this go with? This prefix here?
Nimmt.
Good. Nehmen by itself, or by itself it would be he takes, but herausnehmen, he takes out. So Marshall takes out a few yellow grains, and then places from legen. And where's the direct object of legt?
Und legt sie.
Good. Them, plural. The obviously referring back to the grains here, and places them to Sutter. This is actually proper nouns actually don't need the definite article, so it's hard to recognize what case they would be, but places them in the hand of Sutter, or places them to Sutter in the hand. It's just the way the German idiom goes. Okay, going on. Es ist ein schweres, helles Metall.
Es ist ein schweres, helles Metall.
Good. As a heavy, bright metal. Okay, these are all adjectives. Demonstrate that this is, or it gives you, tells you that this is a neuter noun here. Okay, let's see. How about starting from Marshall says no, doesn't say any word, and just translate down to the end of that paragraph so we can follow you slowly.
Marshall says no word and takes a handkerchief out of his pocket.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Then he opens the handkerchief and places it onto the table. What Sutter sees is a handful of sand with some yellow particles. Marshall takes out a few yellow grains and lays them into Sutter's hand. It is a heavy, bright metal.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you next time for our 5th session on this Sutter narrative. Great. So see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.